had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was. Then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I want to cover this artist known as Ed Sheeran. I'm not too familiar with him, but I just became familiar with him after watching some of these award shows this year and exposing the Illuminati symbolism in those shows. I've noticed that this guy has become extremely popular, and of course that is not by coincidence. So I started to look into him a little bit more to see some of the signs and the symbols within his music videos, things posted on him that he's posted himself, interviews on talk shows, and you come up with the same stuff that you always see. It's not a surprise that this is another Illuminati puppet who's being pushed through the mainstream. Remember now, they don't always have to come across as rugged or trashy. They could be guys who sing love songs. They have to bring people in from every different angle. That's why they're in every single genre. Country music gears towards a certain audience. Rap music gears towards a certain audience. Rock and roll gears towards a certain audience. This guy kind of falls in between. He's a little hipster-ish, little, love songy, ballady, but he's becoming more and more popular. And it's not by surprise, it's by design. It always is by design. And I want to show you this guy's symbolism that he uses, which shows you who he's aligned with, because it's all the same symbols over and over. These are symbols that common people wouldn't use in their day-to-day life. Would you walk around taking photos, putting a hand over your eye every time somebody says cheese, or when you're put on a magazine cover, or you're doing a photo shoot? Would you deliberately do 666 hand symbolism and have it in your album and, in your thumbnails, and you doing it yourself? Of course not. This is how they communicate. Signs and symbols rule the world, because these people communicate through signs and symbols while the rest of the masses are dumbed down and not looking for these things because the school system doesn't educate people to look for these things. They're constantly putting us in an alpha state of mind so we do not pick up on these things. But I'm going to do my best here to show you some of the signs and symbols that show that this guy is aligned with the New World Order, just like everyone else, that he's a puppet for them, and he's no different than anybody else in the music industry or in Hollywood that gets pushed to the mainstream. So right off the bat, not a surprise, this is always the common theme, right? You see him doing the all-seeing eye, holding a hand up over his eye. Is this just a coincidence? Is this why there's so many collages out there that you can see of actors and musicians holding a hand over their eye? When these people go on photo shoots, these photographers are supposedly the highest paid photographers in the world. Oh, they're so glamorous and glorious photographers. Oh, they all just ask them to do the same poses over and over by coincidence. Hey, I really love when people hold a hand over their eye. Can you do that? Okay, cool. Sure. It sounds fun. It sounds cool. Can you hold up the 666 too over your eye? Oh, okay, cool. And the masses just don't see the common themes here. But you can see him holding up his hand over his eye. The all-seeing eye. He's doing the all-seeing eye of Lucifer. This is a common theme we see throughout the Illuminati and these puppets who work for them. You can also see him holding up what appears to be a triangle piece of chocolate over his eye as well, doing more all-seeing eye symbolism. But again, this must be by coincidence, right? His album covers and his names of his albums are very, very coded, some of which are really obvious. You'd think people would pick up on it and see it, but unfortunately they don't. Now, like I always talk about, these people always are paying homage to the Freemasons. When we see the black and white tile and all that stuff, we do see Sheeran here playing a guitar in a room where there's black and white tiles. We also have an album entitled The Orange Room. Orange, in numerology, is 33. So he's saying the 33 room. That's what orange means. Orange is a coded color, which means 33. So he's paying homage to 33, as we all know how symbolic that number is to the New World Order, to these Freemasons. We also see another album entitled X. I've covered this many times. X is a common symbol. It represents the Antichrist. It is representative of the transformation that is to come. You will see this all the time. All of these artists always are making symbols or references to X's, whether they're holding X's up with their arms, whether there's signs behind them with an X on it. Like Carrie Underwood, I just recently covered. So many of these artists. It's a subliminal symbol. It is representative of the transformation and the mark of the beast. Okay, and the arrival and the acceptance of the Antichrist. So his album is just entitled X. His other album is titled 33 Room. And then, of course, you get another album by this guy, his latest one, which is called Divide. Now, I always talk about what's the agenda here. All people who talk about and expose the New World Order, divide and conquer, order out of chaos. So what a coincidence, his newest album, is called Divide, and he uses the division sign to dumb down the masses more. So they think that, oh, well, his last album was an X, so he loves multiplication. Now it's divide. He must really love math. Divide and multiplication. Give me a break. This is what people think that these symbols mean. Obviously, they don't mean that. He didn't name an album and work on the album because he loved to do division. He was staying up all night, dividing 100 out of 2 as many times as he could till he got the correct answer, because it probably took him a while. I don't think so. So we have the Divide album. We have 33 Room. We have X, the Antichrist, the Mark of the Beast. These are album names. You can also see him holding up the 666 as he holds up a little miniature paper airplane by his eye, and he's doing the 666. This is deliberately done. Anytime they do the 666, the A-OK is what the masses think it is. It is not. This is 666, and it's not the only time you see it. One of his recent songs he released happens to have the thumbnail with the 666 sign. You can see it right there. And you can see what he's doing here. Another one of the symbols he has is the black and white of the piano. Why do you think it's black and white? Because they love those colors? Yeah, it is. Because they believe in duality. It's esoteric. It's there for a reason. So those are symbols that he's throwing around. We can also see him throwing up the devil horns in photographs with other celebrities. Not a surprise. Sitting next to a guy who's throwing up the pyramid as he's throwing up his hands almost in cube formation. I mean, this is all common. It's the same stuff we see over and over. And it's amazing to me that when you see the same things repeated over and over by these celebrities, these musicians, that people can't wake up and see that they are a part of the secret cabal, that they are at the bottom of the barrel. They are the puppets, but they are rewarded with fame and wealth here on earth, and they do their bidding. They're not the ones who are deciding what the album name is going to be or the album cover. Their handlers are. But they're the ones out there brainwashing the masses. They're just as guilty. So take your love of these false idols away and realize they're the ones who sign themselves over to this. They're the ones who are allowed to be a part of this and are allowing themselves to continue being a part of this. Now, another common theme you'll see with the Illuminati is that they do ridicule rituals. And probably 9 times out of 10, you will see at some point in somebody's career them dress up as the opposite sex. They have these men cross-dress. It is a sick perversion that they have up at Bohemian Grove. We have famous people, politicians walking around cross-dressing, dressing up as women. It's part of their perversion. Obviously, we're all aware of the transgender agenda that's currently going on, but we see him here dressed up as Annie Ann or Annie, whoever she's supposed to be, dressed up as a woman. This is common. We see it all the time. We hear about it all the time. These celebrities are forced into roles where they have to dress up as the opposite sex. It is part of the transgender agenda, but it's also part of their initiation ritual. It's a mocking ritual, but it is done all of the time in the occult. He can be seen in one of his videos prominently wearing a shirt, which appears to have an upside-down pyramid on it, but has lightning bolts in it. Lightning bolts, another common theme, represents Lucifer's fall. As lightning in the sky. Okay, that's why we always see lightning bolts. That's why David Bowie has a lightning bolt on his face. That's why Marilyn Manson always has a lightning bolt. Lady Gaga, you name it, you'll always see it. It's not because they're huge fans of the Weather Channel and they're sitting around wondering when the next big thunderstorm is going to come because they want to get their popcorn ready and sit on the deck and watch lightning. Another theme you'll see is songs. The theme throughout songs, because it's funny how many... I've covered this before. I talked about songs that have the word magic in it, how many musicians use the word magic. There's thousands of songs that are called magic. You'd think somebody come up with the original idea, right? Well, another one that I always talk about is One. Having a song called One, U2, One, Metallica, One. There are dozens, beyond dozens of songs called One. They're not talking about the one that got away. They're not talking about their wives or their girlfriends being the one. They're talking about one, because the overall goal of the New World Order is for a one everything, a one world government, one world religion, which would be the worship of Lucifer, one currency, one language, one everything. And they continue to talk about the universal one and universal love movement. That's why all these celebrities constantly are saying, believe in love, block the hate, love, and then the word one. So he has a song called One, which is a common theme. You could go into a music database and research how many songs there are called One. It is conditioning, one everything, subliminal mind control. You can also see him do other common Illuminati symbols, such as the shh, okay, the finger over the mouth. That is the vow of silence. These people are sworn to secrecy. They are sworn to protect the secrets of the oaths that they take. They are sworn into a brotherhood. And for betraying the brotherhood, the result usually ends up in death or extreme ridicule, but usually death. This goes through the Masonic lodges. They take a vow of silence, and that's what it means. That's why all these celebrities are constantly holding their finger up over their mouth. They're not just saying, hey, I farted, I've got it, shh, don't tell anyone. Okay, they're showing one another that they're a part of the brotherhood, and they've taken the vow of silence, the oath of silence, and that they're one with each other. That's why dozens of magazine covers have these people doing it. That's why Rihanna has it tattooed on her finger. She doesn't have it tattooed on her finger because she likes to keep secrets. Okay? People need to get with it, these signs and symbols, all which connect through all the secret societies, the mystery religions. Okay, you can go to the Vatican, you can go to the Zionists, you can go to the Freemason lodges. The list goes on and on. The signs and the codes are all universal with them. Whatever branch they come through, whatever coven or satanic cult they come from, they're indoctrinated with the same beliefs and the same symbols and the same signs. And unfortunately, they've taken a lot of these signs and turned it on the masses so that people see symbols and signs like this, and they think it means something else, when in reality, they're mocking us and doing it right in front of our faces. You can also see him doing the tongue, sticking out the tongue, a featured photo in a photo shoot that he did. This is just another one, the serpent's tongue. We see this all the time, with the tongue sticking out. Whether it's Kiss, Miley Cyrus, almost every musician has photographs of them sticking out their tongues. They're not saying, that they want their temperature taken. Okay? This is the serpent's tongue. This is more subliminal coding. And of course, he's the ambassador, of course, of this brand entitled Hoax. That must be a coincidence as well. A brand called Hoax. If that's not rubbing it in, because that's what they do. They mock us. They rub these things in our faces. He was wearing the shirt at the Grammys with Hoax on it. Okay? They rub this stuff in our face because everything that really is going on in this world is a hoax. It's controlled by them. They are manipulating everyone's minds with these fake events and these fake disasters that they create, these terrorist attacks, all of it. It's controlled. They're even telling us that. That's why he's the grand ambassador for Hoax. I mean, who really, you can make up any name and say, oh, it's become a brand. So many people have come up with so many ideas for t-shirts that have been flushed down the toilet. Okay, this is a great idea, the word hoax on a shirt, and you get this guy to be the ambassador for it? Come on, put one and one together. It's just more mockery. So those are just some of the things that I saw through going through his videos and going through some stuff on him. The all-seeing eye, holding the pyramid over his eye, the 666, the 666 thumbnail, the album covers, X, the Antichrist, and the acceptance of the mark of the beast. Orange Room, which is 33 Room. His newest album, Divide and Conquer. We see him with the black and white symbolism, performing in a room with black and white tiles. We see him cross-dressing as a woman, a common theme. The vow of silence. The tongue, sticking out the serpent's tongue, the lightning on his shirt. All of these things, these are all common themes. If you go through any of the videos I've done exposing these music industry artists, or they're not really artists, they're fartists, but you go through them, it's all the same stuff. And what's sad about it is that society looks up to these people. They think that they're creative and innovative. And if they actually sat there and dissected this stuff, they'd say, that's not very original. Why are they all doing the same stuff over and over? They're all doing the same stuff over and over because it's just part of how they work. They're indoctrinating the masses with their symbols. They're showing it right in our faces, and they continue to get away with it. Signs and symbols rule the world as far as communicating. This is how they communicate, and the rest of the masses are dumbed down and not looking for it because they're too distracted and too busy all the time. So this is Ed Sheeran, another guy who some people are saying, well, he can't be in it. He's a nice guy. He comes across nice, and he sings love songs that are catchy. Well, tough. You don't get there, okay? You don't get to that level of success and fame without being one of them. He's mentored by Elton John. Do I even need to say anymore and get into how satanic and sick that guy is? The sodomite that he is, okay? I won't even get into that. But this is Ed Sheeran, Illuminati, another one of them. They're all in there, all these guys in the mainstream, no matter what genre, rap, rock and roll, country, love music, you name it. If they're famous, they're getting pushed to the forefront. They're a part of it. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.